Hola y bienvenidos al Club de Drama. This week we've got plenty of sport hot topics when we talk Boogie Cousins and Andrew Luck. And later, Kirsten Dunst speaks her truth and everybody else's. I tell the story of Robert Blake, and Stef tells us the wild story of Tila Tequila. Stay tuned.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Good, right? Yeah, I know it do. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to NY.
That's all I have. Then I wrote down E News sucks because I actually caught an episode of E News and it fucking sucks.
Is it the new version already? Or
it's the new version and it sucks. And me and you are way better at that shit than them, and they should just let us do it.
We're gonna have to show up there and just like knock on
Be
the
like,
door.
you guys don't know what you're doing. Let us in.
Yeah, the Amazon is still on fire, and that's everything I have.
And welcome to the Drama Club.
It's Friday.
Welcome to the Drama Club.
We are drinking Chardonnay.
That's some fancy ass shit. I got some ice ready for our bong.
Oh, give a shout out to homegirl who told us.
Oh yeah, that was
don't
awesome.
say her name, maybe because it could be private.
Okay, so I won't say, but one of our fans messaged us on Instagram and said that when she was younger, when she was trying to be fancy with her bong hits, she used to brew iced tea and then put ice and the iced tea into her bong. And I was like, what did that do? Like, and she said, just thought we were fucking fancy. It made your weed have an herbal taste.
I'm with it though. That says, to be young.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Then I told Steph we got to do that, but we got to put on like long gloves,
yeah,
and, like hats and shit.
We gotta go buy a bong.
First of all,
we gotta go bong shopping. If anybody wants to send us a bong, what's our fucking P.O. box address, man?
Someone's likely to be hurt. And just think, all this time they could be having fun.
So we were talking about Boogie Cousins.
Okay, you guys. First of all, there's a lot of drama surrounding Boogie Cousins in general because this motherfucker got hurt before the season started. His season is over before it started.
Yeah.
Which is really depressing because this was at one time one of the best big men in the league, and he got injured. Now this is, I want to say he tore his ACL this time.
Yes.
And the last time I think it was like the Achilles or something. It was like something else season ending.
Something really awful.
It's always something really terrible. And, you know, he managed to come back and, you know, made a comeback with the Warriors. And like now, okay, we got him. He may not be the same as he was before, but like
we got him on the Lakers. Yeah.
We got him.
So this week an arrest warrant was issued in Alabama for DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins, after he has allegedly threatened his ex-girlfriend.
She got it on video.
Oh, she does have it on video?
Or she has the audio. He's talking to her on the phone.
So she sought a restraining order and had audio where he says he's going to put a bullet in her fucking head.
Yeah.
Because she declined to let their son go to his wedding.
Yeah.
The NBA said that they were investigating the matter, and the Lakers said they were gathering information. Mm-hmm. But he's not in jail yet, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What's crazy to me is that you can't control yourself, my guy. Like, you're a high-profile person. I feel like you should watch your mouth even more.
Yeah. No, because these men, or like these people just like, I think they just see red. Like, they need anger management.
Yeah, that's
help.
true.
That's fucking scary. Over what? Like, whatever. She had her reasons. It's her son too. That's what happens. Like, go to a judge then. That's what happens when you have a child with somebody and you're not co-parenting right.
Well, the wedding was like in a whole ass different state.
Oh, okay.
So it was like it was going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
And this was, I think the audio was from a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and the wedding was going to be that Saturday. So it was like a lot of, you know, there was a lot of logistical things that I think had to happen between the date of the recording and the date of the wedding. So understandably, she was like,
no, he can't go. Yeah. Because she's the one that's going to have to fucking deal with that shit. Meanwhile, you're her ex and you're getting married. Of course you're not going to have your son there, motherfucker.
Yeah, so then he was talking to her on the phone, and he was like, I'm going to tell you one more time, and otherwise you're going to end up with a bullet in your fucking head.
It's fucking crazy. Is he the one that said, I'm going to get these Jamaican hitmen? Or was that something else I read this
I think
week?
that's something else. I hope that's not him too. What the fuck? And so he ended up getting...
Don't Google Jamaican hitmen. Why do I do this? I'm going to fucking...
So I think part of the reason why they are seeking or have arrested him is because she said that in a prior incident, he choked her. But she didn't report it because it was just like, I guess she... they're not together.
Yeah.
So
that's scary though. Yeah, that's awful. He was going to be a starting five, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
man, the Lakers. Will we ever make it back?
We got to ask Elizabeth Warren to help us.
Elizabeth Warren, what could you do for the starting five of the Lakers?
What's interesting to me, though, is I want to see how the NBA handles this, because they have sort of garnered this reputation for being the most woke professional league.
That's true.
They do tend to handle things a little bit faster and better than other leagues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully they're all over this, and they need to set the example. Like, if this is true, if there's any domestic violence involved here, which it looks like there is, they need to act very swiftly.
Right. Do you think the NBA players are the most woke?
Yes.
They seem to be the most like activists, like social activists, outspoken.
Right.
More than other.
But I think that has a lot to do with the NBA, because in the other leagues, they
don't have the support of anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
They're also making like fucking fantastic money. And usually guaranteed contracts. Whereas an NFL player, something you get hurt and like, well, good luck with that.
That was a thing that happened this week too with the NFL, with that guy that signed his $70 million contract, and then like 2 weeks into the day the season was announced, he quit.
Oh, Andrew Luck?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's a boss move. Y'all are fucking mad. And they were trying to say like, oh, this is millennial culture, whatever the fuck. But he was saying like, I was thinking about all the hits I've taken, and like me and whoever, my family, have decided it's best for me to like stop playing this game. And yes, like,
good for you.
You don't need to stay in football for any longer than you should.
Right. And for what really? Is that extra $70 million going to make a
but he's
big
guaranteed.
difference?
He's gotten like a guaranteed contract, so he's still going to get paid even though he quit.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. Y'all are just fucking salty.
Stay scamming. Stay scamming, my guy.
My cousin picked him for his fantasy football league, and then that fool quit.
No.
Oh.
What's a good pickup instead of Andrew Luck? Is Aaron Hernandez still available?
Yeah. Who plays football? Oh, the other thing that happened today, since we're on this sports kick, May, was Tyler Skaggs. You just talked to me about it.
Oh, yeah. So Tyler Skaggs, the former and deceased pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, his toxicology report came out today, and it turns out that he had fentanyl, alcohol, and I forgot what the third thing was. Oxycodone in his system.
It's crazy. We were talking about, we just can't believe that an athlete would do that to their body.
Right. But then I was saying that maybe it was on purpose, because to be involved in those three things at the same time.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot of risk involved there.
It's true.
You have to have some understanding of what could happen to you.
Right. It's too much sad shit. Let's talk about Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, yeah.
Kirsten Dunst is a queen, first of all. And we mentioned it on the podcast, or were we talking not on the podcast?
I don't know.
Like a few weeks ago, we started talking about how she's so underrated and stuff.
Yeah, it might have been on the podcast.
I don't remember if it was on an episode or if we were just talking. But then Kirsten Dunst gave an interview so this week, it'll be last week for you guys listening.
Kirsten Dunst must listen to a lot of Lizzo because she's advocating for herself. She's supporting herself.
Yeah. She said basically that she feels ignored by Hollywood. She feels like she's not lifted up by her peers. She says that she feels like she's never really won awards or been recognized by any of the awards. And I thought it was crazy. She was like, a lot of my movies, like, people don't like until after the fact. Like,
true.
It's so true.
So true.
Because Marie Antoinette, I remember when it came out and everybody was like, oh, that's a fucking wash. And it was fucking, what's his face? Adrian's son.
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman and her. And it was like, oh, this movie fucking sucks. And then people, like, kind of got onto it a few years after the fact. And then the same thing happened with
also, that might be Sofia Coppola's fault, because Bling Ring kind of like people were hating on Bling Ring when it came out, and now people kind of look back and talk about how good of a movie Bling Ring is.
Yeah.
I personally don't really care for Bling Ring.
I never saw Bling Ring.
It's whatever. But I don't like Emma Watson.
Yeah,
I don't
me
like
either.
her.
That's why I didn't watch it.
But I stand Sofia Coppola, so of course I
Me
watched
too.
it, you know?
Well, I liked Marie Antoinette when it came out.
I like Marie Antoinette too because I think the music was
It's so
banging.
good. Yeah, it's
the
so
costumes and
fucking
everything
good.
was so good.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Kirsten killed it as she always fucking does.
Right.
But the thing with Kirsten is that she made a career as a young actress playing roles that I think people still see her as. Like,
Right, and
they
that's
see
what
her
she
as that
said.
cheerleader.
And Bring It On. Yeah, they see her. I told her, well, people remember her macking on Brad Pitt when she was a baby in Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. What was the other movie? She was like... No,
She said Drop Dead Gorgeous.
oh, yeah. Which I liked Drop Dead Gorgeous when it came out, too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it wasn't like a success.
Right.
But she's in fucking bops. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind might be my favorite movie.
It's up there. It's in my top 10 100%.
Yeah, I fucking love Crazy Beautiful.
I forgot about that.
And that's a
movie.
fucking bop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love...
Shout out to Jay Hernandez,
Oh,
baby. We were meant to
God.
be.
We remember you, baby. Melancholia is so good.
Melancholia is really great. She's topless in that, right?
She's ratchet in that for sure.
Shout out to you being topless.
Yeah.
Melancholia is really great, but Eternal Sunshine, I always forget she's in that because she's like,
Yeah,
not-
she's not
Yeah.
the main character.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah,
good ass choices.
She was amazing in that season of Fargo that she did.
Yeah.
I think it was like Fargo season 2.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Bachelorette is a bop.
Oh, that shit is a bop.
Yeah.
That's like an acquired taste though, I think.
But see, she's somebody who does these like indie, more like real serious films, and then does like fucking Spider-Man. And then does fucking Bring It On. So then, like,
Yeah.
that's what people remember her as, because those are the movies that are, like, out there.
Right.
Like, you have to be more into film kind of to have remembered all the other stuff.
But what I like about her as an actress, I think that she definitely, the projects that she chooses to do are because she likes them.
Yeah.
You know, like she has good taste.
Yeah, she has great taste.
So I really respect her. Even if I don't like a movie that she's in, it's obvious like, all right, well,
Yeah.
she didn't do this just because.
So I started watching How to Be a God in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Have you seen
And
it?
yeah.
It's so good.
She's killing it.
It's so good. I didn't even realize it was Alexander Skarsgård.
I had to look it up.
Me too. I was like,
'Cause
how
I was
do
like,
I
he
know
looks
him?
like him.
Yeah. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I know I've seen him somewhere. And then I was like, oh my God.
I thought it was Alexander, but then I was like, let me just verify because he doesn't look fine in it.
No. And then I got into like a pyramid scheme hole and I started looking up pyramid schemes
Ooh,
online.
yeah, that's a whole.
Shout
that's
out
a
to
whole thing.
Herbalife, baby.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season
Me
goes.
too. Yeah.
Shout out to Kirsten Dunst being thick.
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst, you a fucking beast.
I don't fuck with her mans though.
Yeah. But I know he's a good actor. Like, I
Yeah.
thought he was good in Fargo, and I thought he was also good in Black Mirror, that episode he did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think like something about his face.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe he's cool.
We call this way of settling a dispute a compromise.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go first. Oh wait, let's introduce ourselves.
Oh, hello everybody. My name is Stephanie.
And my name is May, and this is the Drama Club.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
We're a podcast all about
Celebrity scandals, gossip, drama,
biographies,
athletes,
drugs,
reality TV,
Chardonnay.
your mama. Don't let me find out some gossip about one of y'all's mama. I will talk about that shit on the podcast. Shout out to Katie Holmes, who wore a $520 cashmere bra.
Oh, we know the price of it?
Yeah, I found it on Google.
Oh shit. Okay.
And Jamie Foxx, you're lost, my dude. I saw this meme that was like, you be breaking up with bitches and a week later they're like, I'm going to Europe. I got accepted to Harvard.
That's like Cassie. Cassie, did you see her?
Yeah.
Her engagement video?
Yeah, that was good. Good for her.
All right. So I'm gonna do Robert Blake.
Ooh.
For this, I watched an episode of the show Hollywood Homicide Uncovered.
Ooh.
It was whatever, but they did do some cheesy reenactments, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, me too.
I also consulted Wikipedia and Robert's website, robertbobbyblake.com.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you, it's something.
I bet.
First of all, the homepage is sort of made to resemble what looks like the cover of his memoir. So it says Robert Blake, Tales of a Rascal, what I did for love.
Oh my gosh, a rascal.
Because he's a little rascal.
Oh.
So anyway, then if you click through, there's a series of batshit essays, ramblings, photos, and even poems. Like, I saw that Ashley Judd movie, Double Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. I forgot about that movie.
I know that we can't try him again, but we should try him again and then enter his website as evidence, because...
It's like the only exhibit.
Okay, so Robert Blake was born Michael James Gubitosi in Nutley, New Jersey on September 18th, 1933, which makes him 85 years old now.
Wow.
Now, because I couldn't believe the insanity of what I was reading, I read one of his essays on his website that deals with his origin story, and I'm still fucking shook. So the story as Robert tells it is that his mother, Elizabeth, had this boyfriend named Tony. Everyone loved Tony. He was a ladies' man. He could dance, play any instrument. He had everything going for him. Robert says that Tony became interested in his mother, quote, because she was so virginal, never been fucked, Christ, she's never been kissed. But mommy dearest couldn't put out. I doubt she even knew where the fucking thing was.
He says this about his mother. And she's already given birth to him. Or
yes.
no?
Well, no.
Okay.
I was like, yes, because he's born.
Yeah.
And he's telling the story, but
okay,
no.
But this is his dad, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Tony dumped her, and Elizabeth started dating and eventually married Tony's older brother, Jimmy, who hated Tony because he was jealous that Tony was the fucking man. Yada, yada, yada. There's a weird part here in the essay where Robert refers to abused children or those who have experienced quote unquote pee-pee trauma.
What?
He refers to them as quote Oprahs.
What?
He's like he's like something like, real quick, just to all those Oprahs out there.
What does that mean?
To all those people who have experienced pee-pee traumas. He's fucked up.
Yeah,
Dude.
this
okay.
is fucking crazy already. How is this already this crazy? This is fucking...
Anyway, so Jimmy and Elizabeth are married now, and Robert says, quote, they begin doing some horribly wretched, poor excuse for fucking. Her pussy is as tight as a bulldog's ass, and he comes before he even gets it in.
May, how is he writing this about his mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
It's I was reading it. I'm telling you,
this
I could
is
not,
on his website?
Yes. I could not believe what I was seeing with my eyes. All right. So anyway, so he says, this is the full ass quote. So he comes before he gets it in. But Elizabeth is determined to learn how to fuck so she can go across the street, fuck Tony, and marry him, end quote. Remember that these are his parents he's talking about.
I haven't forgotten.
So Elizabeth has a couple of kids, a boy and a girl, Robert's older siblings. And, quote, figures she's ready to fuck Tony, dump Jimmy, and live happily ever after. Tony starts fucking Elizabeth, and Elizabeth starts responding sexually. Her pussy comes to life, and she's happy as a pig in shit, end quote.
This is something he put on his own website. Like, I'm so shocked.
Yeah.
From out of his own free will.
Yeah.
About his mom and dad.
Mm-hmm. And his uncle.
Dad.
Uncle Daddy.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Then he goes on to say that Elizabeth got pregnant by Tony and went to the local abortionist who happened to be Frank Sinatra's mother and paid her $15 to terminate the pregnancy. FYI.
Damn, that was cheap as fuck. Was that a Groupon or what?
That was the first Groupon.
What the hell?
FYI, Frank Sinatra's mother was a midwife and was, as legend has it, she did provide abortions. So this is crazy, but is it though? Like, because she's also from that area.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. But it's a kind of a flex. He's kind of trying to flex a little bit.
Right. Anyway, time goes by. Tony finds a girl that he loves and he wants to settle down with her. So he stops getting busy with Elizabeth, who essentially traps him by purposely getting pregnant by him the last time they have sex when he's like dumping her and he's like, this is the last time, you know? Anyway, she gets pregnant by him and Tony is basically like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he marries the girl that he was feeling and moves away.
Wow.
So Elizabeth goes back to Frank Sinatra's mother, but she doesn't have the $15, so Mrs. Sinatra turns her away. So Elizabeth goes home and tries to terminate with a coat hanger.
Oh my God.
And she bleeds out, but the pregnancy was not terminated.
Wow.
So she tries the coat hanger again a few weeks later and nothing. Cut to September and baby Robert was born at home.
I'm so scared of like
going back to this.
Yeah, that, but just like my mind, like I literally can't go there. Like I know that it's something that women used to do. I can't even like, I know that it exists. I know that there's a coat hanger involved. I can't think past that because it just fucking hurts me.
Yeah, and it's traumatizing, and it's sad that women have to put themselves through that for basic healthcare. Okay, so cut to September and baby Robert was born.
We're gonna lose all our red listeners.
Bye. Okay, but he says that his mother and father both hated him. Jimmy, because he knew that Tony was his real father, and he already hated Tony. And Elizabeth hated him because she hates both her husband, Jimmy, and now Tony for abandoning her.
Oh, man.
Robert says that he can remember being a few months old and crying in his crib because they basically abandoned him there. And Elizabeth refused to give him any milk. That's what he says. He says he remembers that.
How early are childhood memories? Like,
I mean, what's your earliest memory?
fuck? Are you kidding me?
You know, this is not...
Yeah.
People don't... No, that's not a thing.
No.
Several more months go by, and when the Census Bureau comes by, they force Jimmy and Elizabeth to produce the baby's birth certificate, which they never bothered to get since they never cared about him. So they use some connections at the records office to forge one and make up a birth date, since allegedly no one can remember or even cared when exactly baby Robert was born. So anyway, whatever really happened to Robert as a child, it's obvious that there is some serious trauma there.
Yeah, seriously.
He goes on to claim that he was physically abused by both his father and mother, who were both alcoholics, and that he was sexually abused by several people, including some family members. So, I mean, obviously, just what we know about him, he's super fucked.
Yeah, and he had a really bad childhood.
Yeah, no matter what happened to him or didn't, like, whatever it was bad.
Imagine how bad your childhood would have to be to even, like, imagine this up in your mind about your mom and dad and your origin story.
Right.
Yeah, that's awful.
Baby Robert showed a lot of talent for dancing almost as soon as he could walk. So his father would make him dance in the street for change, and soon that became the only money coming into the family. He says that this made his father hate him even more because he resented him for being the breadwinner, and that his two older siblings also hated him for being talented. In 1938, when Robert was 4, the whole family moved to Los Angeles so that the kids could pursue jobs in entertainment.
Wow.
Robert started working almost immediately, first as an extra and then becoming a member of our gang, aka the Little Rascals, for MGM. He did 40 Little Rascals films between 1939 and 1944.
Jesus.
Usually credited under the name Mickey Gubitosi, but halfway through, he took on the stage name Bobby Blake, which he says was given to him by Louis B. Mayer. Robert says that during his time at MGM, he and the rest of the Rascals had their own little schoolhouse at the studio, and the bigger child stars like Elizabeth Taylor, Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney had a different, fancier schoolhouse.
Aww.
So he knew he was moving up in the world when they moved him to the Elizabeth Taylor schoolhouse.
Right.
And I saw that he did appear in at least a couple movies for MGM outside of the Little Rascals. But Robert claims that he was let go from MGM because his father constantly interfered and had to be kicked off the set and banned from the lot. He laments the fact that he could have been a huge star to rival Elizabeth Taylor had his father not done this.
Wow.
Which obviously his dad sucked,
right.
But it's very convenient for Robert to be like, I could have been a huge star if it wasn't for my dad.
Well, yeah,
you know?
I mean, you don't really know what wouldn't have happened, but...
Right. Yeah, and it's possible that that really was the reason he was fired, but, you know, even if it was, we don't know what would have happened.
He wouldn't have been a huge star. Marlon Brando existed. Look at yourself, Robert Blake.
Just look at yourself.
You weren't going to be a huge star.
Anyway, but regardless, this is just one more chip on Robert's shoulder about his family, specifically about his father,
dad,
Jimmy.
yeah, definitely.
You know. And Jimmy eventually shot himself and died in 1956 at age 48.
Holy shit.
So honestly, for Robert, it's just trauma after trauma after trauma. And
yeah.
Meanwhile, starting from age 11 and for the next 3 years, Robert had another starring role in a Western film series called Red Ryder. He did 23 of those films.
God damn! What the hell?
You know he was on those Judy Garland pet
Hell
pills.
yeah.
And as he grew up, he worked very steadily in small and supporting roles, only stopping when he was drafted into the Army in 1950. But he picked up right back where he left off when he got back and expanded his resume to include TV roles. In 1961, he began a 22-year marriage with actress Sandra Kerr, and they had 2 kids. By 1967, when he was 34 years old, the man was a veteran. He'd appeared in over 70 films and a ton of TV shows. A great career by all accounts. This part of his career really reminds me of like David Carradine, like the character actor working steadily, grinding it out. Just
You're
doing
good.
His thing. Yeah.
Like he's probably like professional. The industry loves him.
Right. And he's been doing this since he was like literally this big. So like, you know, he knows the drill. Mm-hmm. He's happy. He's working actor. So it's 1967, and that year really set shit off because he appeared in the role of Perry Smith in the film adaptation of one of my favorite books, Truman Capote's In Cold Blood. He and the movie got rave reviews, and all of a sudden, Robert was a name and a star. Daniel Craig plays Perry in the movie Infamous, which is the Truman Capote movie where Truman is not played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. R.I.P. That's Capote.
R.I.P.
But Harper Lee is played by Sandra Bullock in this movie. Those 2 movies came out within 12 months of each other, and it always trips me out when Hollywood does that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think in Capote, it's not Sandra Bullock who plays Harper Lee. It's homegirl it's like the mom from Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
From Being John Malkovich.
Yes. Is she married to Ted Danson?
No, no. You're thinking of Mary Steenburgen.
Okay.
Steenburgen. This is,
they're similar looking, right?
Catherine Keener or something? Catherine Keener? Something like that. You know, Mary Steenburgen was roommates with Hillary Clinton.
What?
In college.
Oh my God.
You know who Marianne Williamson's roommate was? Laura Dern.
What the fuck?
Okay, so Robert just had a breakthrough role in a hit film, and he parlays that into even more film and TV appearances, so he's killing it. In 1975, he plays the title role in the hit TV series Beretta, for which he won an Emmy for Best Actor. Beretta was a plainclothes detective who was a master of disguise and was notable for his pet cockatoo, Fred. He also had catchphrases like, "Don't do the crime if you can't do the time."
Hey.
And "You can take that to the bank."
Hey.
And as we know, once you have a catchphrase,
that's it. Your money.
You got a fucking hit. Anyway, had Robert not been involved in a scandal, I never would have heard of Beretta, but I guess it was huge in the 70s. Like, my immigrant-ass parents know what Beretta is, so it must have been like a thing.
A thing, yeah.
After Beretta ended, he spent the next couple of decades doing his thing and kept acting in miniseries, TV movies, and the occasional theatrically released film, including 1995's Money Train with Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and Jennifer Lopez.
Oh.
And he has some tea about that movie, about the set of that movie.
Really? I was going to say, that sounds like a good ass.
He says that Wesley Snipes sexually harassed Jennifer Lopez. Because he'll say, Wesley Snipes says that they dated, which if you notice, Jennifer never says. But and she says it's because like he was basically forcing her like go out on a date with me.
Early in her career, so she's not huge yet. So
it's before
and
Selena.
she's still bomb as fuck.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
In 1999, Robert began a relationship with a woman named Bonnie Lee Bakley. Relationship might be pushing it. They were fucking.
Okay.
They met at a jazz club in Studio City, and they fucked in a van behind the club.
Is she the same age as him? Do we know?
No, she's younger.
Okay.
Yeah, she was born in 1956.
Okay.
So, anyway, just a little background on Bonnie. She was around 42 at the time that they met. Bonnie was also from New Jersey and was a wannabe model, actress, and performer. When she met Robert, she had already been married 9 times.
What? Elizabeth Taylor?
That's more than our girl is.
Damn.
She got married as many times as 50 Cent got shot.
That's wild.
That's too many times.
9 times.
Too many times to be shot, too many times to be married.
That's true though. Although if I always think like if I don't have like one long lasting like real ass marriage, I would be fine being a divorcee. Just fuck it. Just get married a grip of times. Fuck it.
Oh wait, no, I wouldn't want to keep getting married because then you get caught up legally and shit. No,
that's all right.
So the first time she got married, she was very young. I think she was in her teens.
Oh, okay, that's awful.
She got, like 19, but still. Anyway. she got paid to marry this guy she knew so that he could get a green card.
Hey.
But she almost immediately divorced him, and he ended up getting deported.
Oh, fuck. I hope the check cashed.
Fucked him. Then she married her first cousin, Paul.
Ooh.
And they had 2 kids together.
Oh, no.
But ultimately divorced 5 years later. That was her longest marriage, so he was probably her one true love.
Fuck.
One of her friends said that she married Paul because she was obsessed with Jerry Lee Lewis.
Who famously, that's for another episode.
That's for another episode. Yep. Shout out to Winona Ryder.
Oh, yes. Great balls. Bye. That's a very classic Winona look movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, I want to say like she shares a wardrobe with like mermaids because she wears like little 50s ass things.
outfits, yeah.
Anyway, so she was like, I'm going to try to marry my cousin too. Yep. Bonnie would make money by placing personal ads in a bunch of magazines and getting like porno magazines and like your local type LA Weekly, but not LA Weekly, I mean, those types of magazines. Anyway,
Right.
She would place ads in the back of those magazines, and she would get the men she developed relationships with to send her money in exchange for sending them nudes or just corresponding with them or talking to them on the phone.
Once again, shout out to scammers.
Shout out to the scammer.
Bonnie the scammer.
Sometimes she'd marry these dudes.
Oh, fuck.
And they were usually older men.
Over the mail? Like, she didn't even meet that fool? She would just, like, sign the marriage certificate?
And what would happen is they'd put, they'd go home from the chapel. They'd put her name on the bank account. She would clean out the bank account. She would skip town the next day.
Ooh.
Or she'd, borrow against her life insurance and then, like,
kill them.
So she was a scammer. And business was good, apparently, because she used the money to buy a few houses in Memphis and another in the Los Angeles area. She had moved to LA at some point to try to make it in show business, going so far as to renting herself a billboard overlooking the Sunset Strip, and it just had her headshot, her name, and her number.
Ooh.
I can't believe more people don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? You would think that, like, Sunset would be littered with those.
But I think it's fucking expensive, man.
Oh, yeah, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, she's scamming literally dozens of men probably to afford this billboard.
Yeah. I got binders full of men to scam. Shout out to Mittens.
Anyway, so her entertainment career never took off, obviously. She was a moderately successful criminal, and she did have a record related to mail fraud and generally being a scammer.
Nice.
There was one time they talked about her being arrested. She got pulled over, and the cop asked her for her ID, so she pulled out her purse, and like 13 IDs fell out.
Oh my God.
So
that's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, so there seems to be some disagreement about when or if she told Robert Blake that she was a scammer. Her homegirl says that Bonnie told him the first time they met. Like, she wanted to play the role of this bad girl for him. Others say that Robert didn't find out until much later. Bonnie was briefly married to a guy named Glenn Wolfe and became his 27th marriage out of 29.
What?
Glenn holds the record for most monogamous marriages. He died alone in 1997 at 89 years old and had approximately 40 children.
40?
40.
Oh my God.
The only person present at his funeral was one of his kids.
What?
5 of his wives died while married to him, which I feel like needs to be
scary.
investigated,
Yeah,
but
like
that's a different story.
Yep.
But no one has ever apparently asked or thought to question this.
Fucking crazy, man.
Anyway, Bonnie was obsessed with celebrities. I wonder what that's like. She was determined to marry someone famous and said, quote, being around celebrities makes you feel better than other people. She had a daughter in 1993 who she claimed was fathered by aging rocker Jerry Lee Lewis, who she named Jerry Lee. Like,
wow.
Jerile. She had gone to Memphis to try to meet Jerry Lee Lewis and talked her way into developing a close relationship with his sister, who was the one that introduced them. A DNA test would later reveal that Jerry Lee was not Jerry Lee's father. She also tried to date Dean Martin, Frankie Valli, and Gary Busey.
Oh.
Her taste in men is
yeah, girl, what are you doing?
Questionable. Also, like, she's obsessed with celebrities, and she's like, it makes you feel better. And look at these celebrities that she's associating herself with.
Yeah, nobody feels better about hanging out with fucking Gary Busey.
Anyway, so Christian Brando, son of Marlon Brando, was serving a 10-year prison sentence for voluntary manslaughter. She became his pen pal, and when he got out in 1996, they began a romantic relationship all the way through 1999, when she was also dating Robert Blake. Robert was worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $8 million around this time. He'll tell you 15 million or any 20 or even 25. It's hard to say. But suffice it to say that he was very comfortable. Meanwhile, Christian Brando didn't have any money to speak of, but he had his name, and he was infamous for being a murderer.
Right.
So, I mean, what she craves is fame and or money.
Right.
Ideally both, but
whatever.
She'll take either one.
Yeah.
So she's juggling these two dudes, hoping that she can get pregnant by one of them. When she actually did become pregnant in 1999, she told Robert, and he was like, "You need to have an abortion." And he allegedly threatened her with violence if she didn't have one.
Wow. At this point, has Robert had any marriages or?
Yeah, he was married to one woman for 22 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And kids?
2 kids.
Okay.
So his kids are grown. He got married, I think, in 62 or something.
Okay.
So, and divorced in like 84.
Okay.
And the kids are,
they're
big,
old now,
grown-ass
yeah.
adults. Yeah. So anyway, he allegedly threatened her with violence. And Bonnie had this weird thing where she would record all her conversations.
Oh, that's... I always think that's somebody who's like paranoid. Like, and then paranoia leads to a whole bunch of other problems.
So she was so obsessed with celebrities. I think when she was talking to these like low level celebrities, she was like, "I gotta keep it as a keepsake or whatever."
Oh no.
Anyway, so I'm pretty sure that he did tell her like, "You better fucking get an abortion or else."
Right.
Anyway, so she was like, "Don't even trip" when he told her that. "I think this is Christian's baby, so leave me alone." So she takes off, and since at this point she figured it was more convenient for it to be Christian's baby, in June 2000, when her daughter was born, she named her Christian Shannon Brando.
Wow.
But Bonnie wasn't sure either way, like whose baby it was. But Robert asked Bonnie to send him a photo of the baby, and when he looked at her, he noticed a resemblance. So Robert asked for a paternity test, and sure enough, he was the father.
Wow.
So they changed the baby's name to Rose Lenore Sophia Blake.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Bonnie is on probation back in like Tennessee or Arkansas or something. So she's not even supposed to be in California. And Robert knows that. So he hires 2 dudes to, quote unquote, arrest Bonnie for violation of her parole and send her ass back to Arkansas or whatever. They make a big show out of it in a public place, and Robert takes baby Rose and is like, "Don't worry, Bonnie, you go handle your business and I'll take care of Rose." But when Bonnie gets back, she meets her parole officer, and he's like, "Bitch, we didn't even know you were gone. Like, somebody played you."
Yeah.
And that's when she realized that it was a plot by Robert to kidnap Rose. So she rides out the end of her parole. I think she only had a few months left anyway. And then she heads back to LA to confront Robert and tells him that she's going to sue him. But Robert was like, "What if we got married?" Not only to appease her, but also he figured it might actually help in establishing his parental rights if it came to that in court.
Right.
So,
well, that's interesting. So he's like a pretty hands-on dad then.
I don't know it's funny because he did ask for the abortion, but I didn't put it in here because I only heard this from one person, but she said that Bonnie may have been like neglectful of the baby.
Oh no.
So he thought like, "Oh, she just can't be with Bonnie."
Right.
So even when he did take the baby, he gave baby Rose to his oldest daughter.
Oh, okay.
So the oldest daughter was and is raising the baby.
Wow.
So Robert became Bonnie's 10th husband. Robert only agreed to marry Bonnie under a set of strange legal stipulations. First of all, that she sign over a custody agreement where she could only have monitored visits with Rose and needed to get written permission to be on Robert's property.
What?
Isn't that wild? As a spouse,
yes.
Like, you don't have rights to be. Okay,
you don't live together. You're not like.
Okay. Also, that if either party decided to end the marriage, that the other party would get custody of baby Rose.
Ooh.
Bonnie's lawyer was like, "That shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Do not sign that." But Bonnie signed it, and the couple got married, but they didn't live together. Meanwhile, Robert hired a private investigator to check Bonnie out, and he found out she was actively running personal ads to get men to send her money. Like I said earlier, he may or may not have known about the scamming before, but he for sure didn't know that she was actively still doing it.
Right.
Obviously, Robert is furious about this, maybe even a little humiliated. Bonnie starts telling friends that he keeps threatening her and that if anything ever happens to her, that he did it.
Oh my God. That's scary. Didn't like Dominique Dunn, I was just thinking about her because you talked about that.
About her dad, Dominic Dunn.
In Vanity Fair, that article on Klaus and Sonny. Didn't she also say something like that? Like,
She did.
Like it's him.
I wouldn't be surprised because he was crazy.
Yeah, like she's like if anything happens to me, it's him. Oh my God.
That's so scary.
That's so scary.
That's fucking scary because you're telling people, like, get away. Obviously, it's not that simple,
Of
but,
course,
you know.
yeah.
On May 4th, 2001, Bonnie...
It's a full last date right there.
Bonnie and... That's the day before Cinco de Mayo.
Hey! Margarita time.
Bonnie and Robert ate dinner at Robert's favorite restaurant, Vitello's in Studio City. After dinner, they walked back to Robert's car, which was parked a block away for some reason, even though the parking lot was empty. After this, things get a little murky. Robert says he forgot his gun inside the restaurant, and he claims that he went back inside to get it.
Right,
I remember when I heard that.
Me too, and I was like, why is he taking his gun in there?
Fuck?
Yeah.
He claims he was carrying a gun because Bonnie's scamming was catching up with her, and that they were both worried someone was after her.
Yo, the Vitello's menu looks good as fuck.
You want to go?
Yes.
While he was allegedly back at the restaurant retrieving his gun, by the way, something that no witnesses saw,
Right.
Bonnie is shot 2 times point blank in the face from the lowered passenger side window, implying that she may have known the person because she lowered the window. You know, like if you're like, oh, hey, you know, you would lower the window and talk to that person. By the way, on this very day, she called her sister and said something like Robert's gonna kill, like, it's getting serious. He's gonna kill me sooner or later.
It's just so weird that his alibi involves a gun, right?
Right.
Like, it's just so fucking weird. Like, it already looks bad for him, and that makes it look worse.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah. I gotta get the other wine.
Robert then says that he comes back to the car and noticed that something was wrong and runs over to the houses in the neighborhood and starts banging on the doors yelling for help. One dude opens his door and he says that Robert was crying and saying that he and his wife might have gotten mugged and that he needs to call 911. So they go inside and the guy calls 911 and Robert's like, I'm going to go back to the restaurant and ask for help.
What year was this, May?
2001.
Okay.
By the way, this dude later, like, a week later or whatever, he calls the cops and he says, you guys should actually come check my house because I don't know if he maybe tried to stash something in here. Because he says that just something was weird about the way he was acting. You know what I mean? Like, you just get a feeling about somebody.
Weird ass dude, yeah.
So he was like, you guys should just come check my house and make sure he didn't stash anything here. Which is like, that's a weird, for somebody to get that vibe from you.
From
you know?
someone who is like allegedly helping somebody who's in a state of panic to like also then be paranoid about you. Yeah, it's not a good sign.
Okay, anyway. So they go inside, they call 911, and Robert's like, I'm going to go back to the restaurant and ask for help. It's weird. This time, people do see him go in there. So, for sure, he did go back this time.
Yeah, because this time he was in there. The other time he was shooting his wife.
Exactly. So, the witnesses in there say that he was very upset. Because he just killed somebody. Okay. Meanwhile, the dude from the house runs over to the car and tries to help Bonnie, and that's when he notices that she's been shot. By the way, the 911 call is kind of funny because he's like, hello, 911? Yes. You know the actor Robert Blake? And then the 911 operator's like, yeah.
Are you familiar with The Little Rascals?
No, not the new one. Not the movie. The old show.
No, not that one either.
Spanky? Buckwheat? No. The other one.
Alfalfa?
No.
Alright, keep on. So fucking rude.
So anyway, so this dude is like, holy shit, she's been shot, right?
Right.
So then Robert makes his way back from the restaurant and he's like, what? He's yelling. He's like, what happened to her? What happened to her? He's just yelling over and over. And that's when the cops get there. The ambulance and the media both also arrive. And there's footage of Bonnie being loaded into the ambulance while the paramedics do CPR. But in the end, Bonnie died that night at age 44. R.I.P. to Bonnie.
Oh my God.
She's a scammer, but she didn't deserve to
Yeah,
die.
no,
you know?
nobody deserves that. I wonder what she ate for dinner. I hope it wasn't like one of those dinners where she's like, I'm gonna eat light, like not
yeah,
really
I
order
know.
what you want to order. You know, I hope she got that fucking fettuccine with a bunch of cheese on top.
Robert had a dish named after him at the restaurant. So Robert had the Robert Blake. I don't know if he made Bonnie have the Robert Blake also. 2 Robert Blakes, please. 2 Spankies or whatever the fuck. 2 alfalfas, please.
Yeah.
Shout out to the plant alfalfa sprouts.
I fucking love alfalfa sprouts.
Yeah, that shit slaps.
Yeah, they're low key overpriced, but yes,
Super overpriced.
yeah. Any like small like microgreens like that, always overpriced, but pleasant, right?
Yeah,
just like
it sets any sandwich off.
refreshing. Yeah.
The investigation took kind of a long time. First, they determined that Robert's gun, which he'd allegedly left back at the restaurant, was not the murder weapon. Then they tested his clothes and hands for gunpowder residue, and it came back inconclusive.
Wow.
Like, he had some on him, but not necessarily the huge amounts you'd see from someone who had fired a gun recently. Meanwhile, Robert already had his legal team working the case. By literally the next morning, they were releasing statements and putting stories in the media talking about Bonnie's checkered past. This is literally the next morning.
So he's doing like fucking whatever control, damage control.
Damage control,
Yeah.
Yep. And they were also saying that it was obvious that someone took her out as revenge. So they're establishing the narrative that they want out there,
Yeah, because he's fucking thought this through already.
The LAPD sent investigators. This is very good. The LAPD sent investigators to several.
This is a Chardonnay from Russian River, keeping it real California up in here.
The LAPD,
And I'm wearing leopard or whatever this shit is.
You are a real housewife.
I'm a hella cougar right now.
Hey.
Watch out.
The LAPD sent investigators to several states to chase leads about this, but none ever panned out. They eventually found a gun in a dumpster by the crime scene that turned out to be the murder weapon. But it was covered in some sort of grease or oil, so they couldn't lift any prints or forensic evidence from it. Also, it was a vintage German officer's gun, so
What?
that shit was so old it wasn't even registered.
Yeah.
That makes me also think that it's him. Because
he would have had access to shit like that being in
especially if
Hollywood his whole life. Yeah.
he's into guns because he does have his concealed carry license or whatever. He likes
Oh, wow.
guns. And that's how he explained the gunpowder residue that was on him, because he said he had gone to the range, I don't know, the day before or whatever.
Wow.
The DA decides to present a case based mostly on circumstantial evidence to the grand jury to see if they should bring charges against Robert. When they subpoena his phone records, one of the dudes with whom he spent a weird amount of time talking to in the time leading up to the murder, we're talking like one day, like 6 hours or some shit. He is a stuntman named Duffy Hambleton. And he's told that he needs to testify to the grand jury, and that's when Duffy confesses that Robert asked him to kill Bonnie.
Wow.
Another stuntman named Gary McLarty also said that Robert approached him about killing Bonnie. They both say that they didn't have anything to do with it, but they both say that they discussed a scenario where Robert would leave Bonnie in a car for a few minutes, allowing for an opening for someone else to come in and commit the murder.
That's fucking crazy.
So the theory, I guess, is that, like, he couldn't find anyone to do it.
Right. So he just
like,
did it. You know what's crazy to me? Like when you do see like the murder for hire stories come out, isn't it shockingly cheap?
Yeah, it's like 10 grand.
I'm always like, what? Like,
Or even less.
yeah,
I've seen like some in the hood. It's like,
5,000. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Our Louis bags are more than that shit.
Here's the thing though. If I were ever going to kill someone, I would don't trust another
take
person.
the shit out, mate. You would what?
Don't trust another person.
I would never say. Why would you tell anyone?
Yeah,
yes.
You're just involving more people. It's like when we talk about conspiracy
This
theories.
motherfucker's asking around. He put an
Yeah.
ad out in Penny Saver and shit. He was like, "Who will murder my wife?"
She's a bitch.
You
by
can,
the way.
you can find her ad on page 96.
You don't even have to feel bad about it. She deserves that shit.
Yeah.
So almost a year after the murder, on April 22nd, 2002, happy Earth Day, Robert is charged with the murder along with his longtime bodyguard Earl Caldwell, who picked up a conspiracy charge in connection to the murder. There's not a whole lot of information about Earl's connection, but he's the bodyguard, so I'm assuming it was like just some sort of like cover-up type situation.
Right.
Earl's bail was set at $1 million, and Robert immediately paid it.
Wow.
Within like an hour or something. Earl's case was eventually dismissed about a year and a half later, right before his trial, because the judge said that there just wasn't enough there to justify the charge. I didn't know judges could do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I feel like if the grand jury says that there is enough, then...
Yeah.
Anyway, Robert, on the other hand, did not get bail. So he sat in jail for a year awaiting trial. He changed defense attorneys, and his new attorney got him out on $1.5 million bail, but he remained on house arrest. His new attorney was that white-haired dude that defended Michael Jackson the second time.
Oh, yeah.
That weird-looking guy.
Yeah.
But then he ended up getting fired like right before trial again because he was, I think, busy with Michael because it was like at the same time.
You're right.
Finally, in December of 2004, the trial began. It was tough because there was no real forensic evidence. It was all circumstantial, but they did have Duffy and Gary, who both testified that Robert had solicited them to murder Bonnie. But the defense ripped them apart. They exposed them both as drug addicts and dealers and suggested that they were mentally ill and seeking attention.
Wow.
After almost 2 months of testimony, both sides rested, and on March 4th, the jury started deliberating. On March 16th, 2005, they came back with a not guilty verdict.
Wow. That's a lot of days, actually.
Right, yeah,
12
I think
days,
so.
yeah.
And it was, obviously it was unanimous, but it didn't seem like they were that torn up about it. They were more torn up about the conspiracy charges related to the solicitation. But even then, they were hung on one of those charges, and it was 11-1.
Wow.
No, it's not to convict.
Yeah.
So, they didn't recharge.
Yeah.
They didn't retry his ass. So anyway, reaction to the verdict was mixed, with a lot of the public thinking that Robert was guilty, but agreeing that there wasn't enough evidence presented at trial to convict him. The district attorney called the jurors, quote, incredibly stupid.
Wow.
That's really shitty.
That is really, really rude.
Because this is a person's life on the line. You can't
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't just throw that decision out there for no reason.
Of course not.
At a civil trial in November of 2005, filed by Bonnie's 3 older children, Robert was found to be responsible for Bonnie's wrongful death, and the family was awarded $30 million.
Wow. He don't have that.
You don't have that, no. A couple years later, on appeal, that was lowered to $15 million. Not that he even had $15 million, because he did have a lot of money to start with, but he spent it all on his
legal fees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who the fuck is going to hire him now?
Right. Robert Blake has spent the year since hiding out on his ranch in the valley, not paying his taxes. I think last I checked, he owed $1.5 million taxes or something.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lien on everything. He's just
wow.
He's fucked. And he even had a very public meltdown while being interviewed by Piers Morgan. You should look that up on YouTube because he's fucking insane.
Wow.
He also found love again and remarried in 2017.
What?
By the way, I'm single, you guys. Robert Blake getting married. Okay. But sadly, he filed for divorce by December 2018.
Wow.
I'll leave you with a quote I found on his website. If you're looking for drama, just walk out on the streets and watch the madness.
Oh my God.
And that's the story of Robert Blake.
That's crazy, May. That guy is fucking insane.
He's crazy.
Oh yeah, he's so crazy. It's
I
crazy
feel
that he's still alive.
I know. That's why I was kind of I kind of want to get this out because he might die soon. But I feel bad for Bonnie. It's a shitty situation that
and a hard life, right?
Yeah.
That's how I always felt about Anna Nicole Smith. Her whole life makes me sad. She didn't deserve all that.
Anna and Brittany and Marilyn.
Yeah, that's tough. I always think to do Marilyn and then I start getting sad and I'm like, never mind. I can't.
Listening to that Marilyn podcast. Have you seen that?
No. How is it?
It's all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
We could do it better.
I know. Yeah. Marilyn is
we
one of those.
We should do Marilyn for a twofer or something and we'll do it together.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
Our Christmas special.
Yeah. Ooh, a very holiday Christmas. A very holiday Christmas time. Christmas with the cranks. Anyways.
How would you settle this dispute?
It's my turn. This is very, very different from Mr. Robert Blake.
Okay.
I'm going to do the story of Tila Tequila.
Hey.
Somebody brought this to my attention recently and I was like, oh my God, we should totally do an episode.
A listener or a friend?
No, a friend.
Okay.
I got most of this from a Time Magazine article on Tila Tequila by Lev Grossman.
Tila Tequila was in Time Magazine?
Yes.
Okay.
Tila Tequila might be the original influencer.
Wow.
Yeah, she used MySpace, aka Facebook BC. as a platform to gain popularity with the masses, and then cashed into that popularity with an entertainment-esque professional career for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So she was born in Singapore, and her birth name is Nguyen Tien Tan. She was born to Vietnamese parents, and she has one older brother and sister. They moved to Texas when she was 1 year old.
What year was she born again? Sorry.
I didn't say.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She is like our age.
Is she? Because I'm wondering, what is she the perfect age to get in on the ground floor with the
Maybe
social
she's
media
slightly
shit?
older than us. Slightly older. 1981.
Okay.
So she moved to Texas when she was 1, where friends affectionately called her Tila Tequila due to her alcohol allergies. Obviously later than 1, but yeah. Tila says that she suffered from family issues and at 16 ran away to Queens for a few months.
Damn, from Texas?
Yeah, this is part of her autobiography.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she also says she became pregnant around this time, but she had a miscarriage.
Okay.
Tila graduated high school in the year 2000, and at 19 years old, she was discovered by a Playboy scout while at her local mall.
Oh.
She was offered a test shoot, and she went and shot, and then she was featured as Cyber Girl of the Week on April 22nd, 2002. She was the first Asian Cyber Girl of the Week, and then she won like Cyber Girl of the Month, and she was the first
crazy.
Asian Cyber Girl of the Month also.
I was going to say, she did. I'm surprised that a Playboy scout found her because she doesn't have that early 2000s Playboy look to me.
Right. After that, she moved full-time to Los Angeles to try to pursue a modeling and entertainment career.
I mean, you got to. I feel like
Yeah, I mean, if
you've got this
that
opportunity.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Plus, you did good.
Right.
Like, on a whim.
Yeah.
You know?
Try to get in the magazine now.
Right? At 20 and inspired by life in Hollywood, Tila started looking for a band to join.
Oh.
So she put together this little ragtag group by the name of Beyond Betty Jean, where she was the lead singer and writer. But the band broke up shortly after, and Tila then started just working in studios and trying to sharpen her own vocal skills to try to do like a solo career.
Mm-hmm.
In 2003, she was cast on VH1's show Surviving Nugent, which was a reality show where participants performed tasks and stunts for Ted Nugent.
I don't remember this.
It was very short-lived.
Really? I mean, this sounds like some 2000s VH1 shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was also getting attention at this time in the import car racing scene,
Oh, okay.
which tailors more to like Asian models.
Yeah.
So she did modeling at car shows and then on a bunch of car magazines, and then she appeared in some street racing video games.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Right, yeah. Then MySpace became a thing.
Okay.
So she joined MySpace at the end of 2003 after she had been kicked off Friendster for the 5th time.
What? How do you get kicked off of?
She said that she always was getting flagged for her risky photos and for the language she used all the time. Like, she was always cussing and stuff.
Yeah.
She was like more raunchy.
Hey, in the MySpace social net, it's like very serious David Fincher social network type movie.
Yeah.
Would there be a character of Tila Tequila?
I wish. That would be awesome. And who would play it? Scarlett Johansson.
Did you know that ScarJo has really terrible tattoos a la Ben Affleck?
What?
I just saw a picture of her on the red carpet and it's like all on her back. It's very tacky.
Ew. Oh, I was going to send this to you. I've been like waiting to send this picture to you of Ben because it's so sad.
It's the anniversary of his going to rehab. Yeah, that.
And his tattoos. Oh God.
He's wearing the towel like my grandma.
Yeah, like up by his titties. Oh my God. All right. So she was invited to join MySpace. So then she did, and on MySpace, she fucking thrived.
Uh-huh.
She said at first she was one of the only people using this website while everybody else was still on Friendster and like LiveJournal and shit.
Oh.
So she emailed she says 30 to 50,000 friends, which that's quite a range, my girl.
Yeah.
I want to give like settlement recommendations at that high of a range.
Between $30,000 and $50,000.
Yeah, 30 to 50,000 friends, and she asked them to join MySpace, which she said most people did, and it did kind of blow up around this time because when I was a junior, senior in high school is when MySpace was like fucking it.
And she would probably not have been on there had she not been kicked off of Friendster.
Right.
That's funny.
Because people were still on Friendster. I was never on Friendster.
Yeah, I was never on either. But
yeah, you're not like into social media.
But Friendster to me sounds like a different era. It sounds like people that are older than us.
Yeah, like maybe like graduating class of high school 2000, 2002.
Maybe something like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas our graduating class was definitely MySpace.
Yeah, the generation of MySpace. She got up to over 1.5 million quote friends on her page where she promoted her music singles, photo shoots, and basically herself. One of her songs she dropped on her page was listened to over 50 million times within 3 months.
Wow.
So she was doing good.
Oh, but like there was no monetizing that either though.
Right. But nobody was doing that when she was.
Yeah.
Time magazine, this is the time where Time did a piece on Tila and her influence, not just on herself, but on MySpace itself.
Do you remember a model named Cindy Margolis?
No.
I just randomly remembered her.
Say like, Cindy C.I.?
I think so.
What about her?
She, in the 90s, like when the internet first came out, she was like she was quote unquote the most famous woman on the internet.
What? Why?
Do you see? Did she come up?
Yeah,
Is
she's
that
like
the right
this
name?
blonde girl.
Yeah. So she was like the first wave of internet celebrity. And then I feel like the second person who came up in my mind who was famous for being online was Tila
Tequila. Huh. Interesting. What did she do? Like, how did she promote herself online?
I think she had she had her own website.
And then nobody did at that time.
Right. Yeah. Where she would just put pictures of herself.
Yeah. Low-key, we should put together money to make a billboard on Sunset Strip.
I know, I want to. I actually looked it up. I looked up how much it costs to do the digital ones.
How much is it?
It depends how many times you want to do it a day, if it's a high traffic area or a low traffic area. Because an ad came up for it on Reddit, and I was like, yeah, how much is that?
Yeah. No, but we got to do one like Angeline.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, fuck. All right.
We have to go take those Casey Musgraves pictures
but
and then
did
use
you see that everybody's doing it?
Yeah, I know.
It fucking blew up. All right. Okay. Okay, so Time magazine around this time did a piece on Tila and her influence on MySpace. They said, quote, "There isn't really a word for what she does for a living yet. And now we have a word for it, influencing. She's an influencer. True. She's some combination of rapper, singer, model, blogger, and actress. But mostly, she's the queen of the massive social networking website, MySpace. So Tila began getting between 3,000 to 5,000 friend requests per day. So at this early point in MySpace history, also, people had friends on the website that they only actually knew. Like, people were only using MySpace for what it was supposed to be used for. Like, they were only adding their actual friends, their actual family. But then Tila came and she changed the game because she turned it into basically who has the most friends, period, whoever the fuck those people are.
Oh, sure. And then it's also a new thing where it's like, don't you want to be my friend? Even though you don't know who I am.
Exactly. And it just becomes this kind of like internet popularity contest.
Yeah.
So once Tila started doing that, everybody did. And then they all used it like she was to promote their own clothes or music or whatever.
Okay.
She changed the game. So she gained all this popularity and constantly logged in hours to keep it alive. She started selling posters, calendars, clothes, and music straight off her page.
Good for her, man.
Yeah. She was getting so much attention that outside businesses started noticing too. So she was asked to pose for British Maxim pretty early on in her MySpace career. Then she hosted a show on Fuse called Pants Off Dance Off, where contestants would strip to music videos. And I watched a couple clips on YouTube. It's funny.
Okay. Why isn't that show still on?
I don't know.
That sounds like
pleasant.
Yeah.
She then signed to will.i.am's music group under A&M Records and started recording music over there.
Okay.
Yeah. She independently kept the rights to release her own singles, though, through her own MySpace.
So she's a businesswoman.
Businesswoman, yeah. She was doing good.
Damn.
Then she had a small cameo in Adam Sandler's awful movie, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Oh. Is that Jessica Biel?
Yes.
Okay.
Then she started her own website, which featured content on how to use MySpace, including providing layouts and widgets and shit. Because people used to do that with MySpace.
She's really smart.
She was so smart.
And it's crazy to me because there's no template. She's making it up.
Yeah, she was like, I know what people want.
Yeah.
They want all this shit. Like,
oh, Tila.
I know.
Oh, imagine she would have gone to like business school or something.
Anything, yeah. I know. Remember, how many people have we said that about?
Yeah.
So then, in May 2007, Tila began filming her own reality show for MTV called A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila.
Okay, I have heard of that.
Yeah. It was a bisexual themed dating show where 16 men and 16 women competed for Tila's affections.
That's kind of cool though, because to this day we don't really have anything that's like.
Oh, there is something now on MTV. It's called Love Island or something, and it's everybody is like pansexual.
Oh,
so it's just like fucking all loose.
It's called Fuck Island. They just be fucking.
It's called Fuck Island. So the twist at the end of the first episode was that they didn't know that she was bisexual until the end. So they didn't know what they were there to do until the end. The show led to an online debate between Tila and some Christian magazines where they were like, this is awful, the Christian magazines. And then Tila responded in her blog criticizing churches for bashing the gay community.
Stan an ally. Not just an ally, because she's a member of the community.
Yeah,
but
we'll wait and see. Okay, so the show was a hit, and it was like around the time that VH1 was kind of killing it on these reality TV shows.
Flavor of Love.
And they had Bret Hart's shit. What was it called? Rock
of Love.
Rock of Love. That show is so fucking good. I
watched the first season when it was out.
I recently rewatched the first season on Hulu, and it's so fucking because it's like so early reality TV that people just don't realize like what they're doing. They just fucking let it all out. And then like now people know like, oh, you got to try to compose yourself.
People are like
trying to make a character out of themselves.
They get there with their characters formed already,
right?
Which is, it makes it less real.
Yeah, it's not fun like that. I want to see you fuck up. So her show was a hit, and she was linked to the first winner of the show, Bobby Banhart, for about a year. But then later, Bobby denied ever dating her past the last episode of the show.
Oh.
And then Tila came out and said, actually, I'm a lesbian, not bisexual, and that she had wanted to pick the female runner-up, but producers forced her to pick Bobby.
Huh.
Yeah. Which that sounds like legit.
But don't you think it would have been more scandalous to pick
a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And it seems like that's the kind of, that's what they're going for.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
She filmed the second season in April of 2008.
Oh, and it's still, now it's only women or something?
No, it was still two. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The same year, she turned her self-named website into a social network type website, but that never really took off because by now people are into Facebook.
Oh yeah. So now like there's no such thing as being a small fish,
right?
Because there's whales.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The following year, she dropped a dating website with Joe Francis, aka Mr. Girls Gone Wild, and she started webcamming off through the site.
Oh. Okay.
On September 6, 2009, Tila was choked and restrained by boyfriend and NFL linebacker Sean Merriman, who was then arrested. The DA decided not to charge Merriman after they had reviewed all of the police reports. But Tila sued him for $1.5 million in civil court, and Merriman ended up countersuing. She declined to respond to his actions, and a default judgment was made against her for $2 million.
No. Wait a minute.
I know.
What?
Because she just didn't answer.
Yeah.
So he just went in there with like basically like no contest.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And by this time, Tila's popularity is pretty much past its peak.
Yeah.
She was pretty much at her peak, MySpace and then the VH1 show.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to die out, and MySpace isn't really a thing anymore. So she has to like try to keep up with the times or fizzle out.
Right.
She then met and
not only that, but like being tied to MySpace as a brand, which at that point was like, oh, it's
washed.
over.
Yeah.
You know, like
it makes her washed.
Yeah,
exactly. Then she met and started dating Casey Johnson, who was the heiress to the Johnson and Johnson Foundation.
Okay. I saw it. There's a documentary with her and Ivanka Trump.
Oh, wow.
And I can't remember, a whole bunch of, I think it might be called Rich Kids or something. It's very good.
Really?
It's from like that time. And Ivanka says some like revealing shit.
Oh, I would love to see that.
It's good. I think it might have been HBO or
There's
something.
some great pictures of like Casey, Paris and Nicole
I bet.
Hilton, Nicole Richie, fucking Tila Tequila randomly. She don't make sense in that group, but like it's like these
because her boo is there.
these heiresses, and it's just like, oh my god, the parties must have been lit. So Casey's the heiress to the Johnson Johnson Foundation. Her dad famously was New York Jets owner Woody Johnson. Casey was allegedly okay. So a little background on Casey. She had been diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 8. And she was described by her parents as a disruptive and rebellious child. She was then diagnosed with borderline personality disorder as a teenager.
Okay.
So she grew up obviously with a very lavish lifestyle, reportedly like into her teens and 20s, racking up $20,000 hotel bills on the regular just because she would take her dogs with her everywhere and they would pee and piss and ruin the carpets.
Oh, God. This level of wealth is like
crazy, right? Like you don't even think that's anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Casey did one semester. You could kill 2 people with that. Casey.
Minimum.
What are you thinking, girl?
What do you want to?
So Casey did one semester at Brown University, but quickly took up drugs and drinking and dropped out.
Ugh.
She then moved to Hollywood to try to get away from her parents, who were not only going through a nasty divorce, but were constantly hounding her to try to go to rehab and try to get help.
Yeah. This sucks because you're throwing fuel on the fire because she's bipolar, right?
Right. So then she moved to LA, and now she's surrounded by a plethora of people who are looking to take advantage of her for her money. Her parents tried to get her to enter rehab at this point and come back to New York, but she was consistently refusing. At 26 years old, Casey had a very, very public and embarrassing fallout with her married aunt, her dad's sister, Elizabeth Johnson, so an even higher up heiress of the Johnson & Johnson Foundation, when it all came out on page 6 that Casey was having an affair with her aunt's boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That seems like that's a bad move because you're trying to get away from your family.
And then you're messy as shit, girl.
Oh, no.
But she's hella messy. Like, she kind of like revels in it.
Yeah. And the disease has
something to do with it.
Impulsivity.
Right. The media attention was everywhere, and Casey was giving interviews making fun of her aunt's love life and her aunt's sex life.
Okay. No, that's not cool.
Her dad was allegedly fucking livid about this because they're New York socialites. They don't want this kind of fucking press. Then Casey went on and adopted a baby.
What?
Yes.
Who let her adopt a baby?
I don't know, dude.
She bought that shit.
And she named her baby Ava Monroe.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's a cool ass name. By this time, Casey and her dad were estranged. Her mom was desperately trying to get her to move home and get help for her mental disorder.
What's her money situation? Like,
her parents are still, so right after this, her family cut her off financially. Her mother was temporarily like got granted custody of her daughter.
Oh. Yeah,
because she was like, at first I think it was kind of like, let me take care of the baby while you try to figure stuff out. And then like later it became very serious.
Okay.
But so her family cut her off. She's in Hollywood. Allegedly her porch was repossessed. And then get this, she had to move into a 2-bedroom guest house in WeHo.
What?
That's how low things got for her, May.
Oh my God.
That's a gigantic eye roll for me.
Oh, was she even allowed a parking space?
Yeah, I think like somebody said like her life is sad because she's like in this guest house, like the pool at where she lives, like the water's all green and shit, and her Porsche is getting repossessed. Like, like it's totally like a rich girl slumming it, you know? And then at this point in her life is when she met Tila Tequila.
Well, you got to give yourself a shot of love.
So this was in the last weeks of December 2009. Casey was having a full-blown public romance with Tila, kissing in front of paparazzi and boasting all over the internet about their love. Tila announces it on her website that they were engaged and that Casey proposed with a 17-carat diamond ring. Right?
All right.
The headline literally said, quote, "Meet my new fiance, Casey Johnson, heiress of Johnson & Johnson." That was like
Wow.
the title she put on her website.
Wow.
They started calling each other wifey, and then they supposedly started live tweeting pleasure sessions.
Wait, what is a pleasure session?
I don't know. I'm not looking into that. You guys take that as you will.
Does it involve some tacos?
Yeah. Casey at that point is when she lost custody of her daughter full-time to her mother.
Oh, fuck.
And she was not taking care of her diabetes.
Oh,
And from what we know, Casey spent New Year's Eve alone and then was found unconscious by a female friend a few days later. 911 was alerted and indicated that she was turning blue. Paramedics arrived and pronounced Casey dead on the scene.
no.
She was 30 years old and she had been dead for a few days.
This is 2010?
2009
Okay.
by the time they found her.
What the fuck?
Tila then announced publicly that she had last seen Casey on December 28th when they had fought and then they fell out of touch. That's crazy, right?
That's horrible.
So sad. In 2010, Tila wanted to then try and reinvent herself, so she changed her stage name to Miss Tila and released a single called I Fucked the DJ.
Oh. Didn't Lauryn Hill also do that? Now she's Miss Lauryn Hill.
She then released a gossip blog, called MissTilaOMG.com, which didn't do anything.
Okay.
She dropped
Ooh, we should try to buy it.
I know, right? Then she dropped a classical music album called, quote, Welcome to the Dark Side, end quote, which actually has received the most positive reviews of any of the other music she's ever dropped.
Play an instrument or something?
No, it's just like more, it sounds more like jazzy, like Billy Idol.
Billy Idol?
Yeah, sorry, Billie Holiday.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant classic like Beethoven.
No. I mean like
So
jazzy,
she got Michael Bublé on it.
Hell yeah. This next jam is with Michael Bublé featuring Tila Tequila.
And Andrea Bocelli.
It's called Shots.
Produced by Will I.
Oh my God. She then went on tour to promote this album, including an appearance at the Gathering of the Juggalos, where she was pelted with rocks and bottles.
Oh, what?
I know. Around this time, Tila leaked a sex tape for an undisclosed amount. Then in 2012, Tila attempted suicide by overdosing on pills. She was found slipping in and out of consciousness by a male roommate at 1:30 a.m.
She had a roommate.
Yeah. She had several roommates.
This is the most shocking thing.
Right?
Not that she committed it or that she attempted suicide, but I'm like, she got roommates.
Yeah. He called paramedics who rushed her to the hospital.
Thank goodness she wasn't alone, dude.
As a result of the overdose, Tila suffered a near fatal brain aneurysm. And she has permanent brain damage. She was hospitalized for over a week and then was in a wheelchair for some time before she recovered.
No way.
Mm-hmm. After being released, okay, so her friend told E! News that Tila had been, quote, trying to kill herself for all week.
What?
Right? And
So
you didn't call
what-
the police or
Yeah,
something
someone
before
help
that?
her.
Yeah. After being released from the hospital, Tila entered rehab. And she actually completed rehab.
Okay, good.
In 2013, all hell broke loose.
Okay.
Tila posted an article directly to her website called, quote, Why I Sympathize with Hitler Part 1. She posted a picture of herself in a sexy Auschwitz outfit, which is a phrase I never thought I would say, with a Nazi band around her arm and a gun in her hand.
Okay.
Obviously shocking propaganda, but also especially because the year prior, she had been talking about converting to Judaism.
So why is she doing this? Attention?
I think attention. I also think the brain damage.
Oh.
And
yeah.
that's what a lot of people on the internet kind of say about Tila is that like, yeah, we see this like shocking shift to her, from her, but also like, let's not forget that she has brain damage.
Yeah, that's true.
In the now deleted blog post, Tila said, quote, Here is a man, Hitler, who was not a coward, stood up for his country in a desperate time of need, unlike all of our cowardly leaders. And yet, not only did he try his best to help his country and people get out of what was a time of depression, but he lost and then was painted out to be a monster. End quote.
Um,
Yes.
Do we
imagine that? Like, what is that? When you just like, do you just forget the rest about him or what?
when you have
Selective memory.
yes, but
I got a cousin with that.
Do we know? I mean, I think we know, but do we know who she voted for? And
we're getting there.
Okay.
She then backtracked a little bit by saying, "I don't hate Jewish people, but this is about Hitler and his side of the story."
Anything that is like, I don't hate X group.
You do. Yeah. Or you don't care about them, which might just be a bigger slap in the face.
Yeah.
At least care enough to hate them then.
Right. Like the owner of Equinox and Soul Cycle and stuff.
Right.
Who was like, I don't believe in his policies, but the taxes, but I want my taxes lowered or something.
Yeah, you're disgusting. That's
worse.
Very separate little special form of evil. The media got a hold of this and obviously ran with it. After all, she was a D-level celebrity, and this is pretty fucking wild. After some digging, magazines noticed that just a week before, Tila had commented on a post talking about the death of reality TV director James Howell and said, quote, "God sees you dirty fucking Kikes.
Oh.
Working for the synagogue of Satan, and I have returned as his messenger. Take heed now."
What?
She commented that. Because he was Jewish.
Yeah, it's not normal.
No, it's not normal. Since then, she pretty much constantly posts some pretty pro-Hitler comments on various forms of social media. Facebook immediately closed Tila's account and removed any links to her blog on the website. And then it kind of hushed down for a little bit. And she was on and off of Twitter. Like, she kept getting deleted. Then in 2014, she announced that she was pregnant and she had a daughter. Yeah. Who she named Isabella Monroe Wynn. She also then changed her name.
Low-key, that's sweet that she named her after, like, the connected name with her.
Yes. She also then changed her name to Tornado Thien and expressed publicly that she believes the Earth is flat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No.
In May, not that the Earth is flat, but just that she believes it. Yeah. In May 2015, Tila announced that she had a new song called Drunk Dialing, which she partially released on her Instagram. That August, she was cast on the 16th season of Celebrity Big Brother, but after a single day, she was kicked out of the house when producers discovered the 2013 Sexy Auschwitz picture.
What? They didn't know about that?
They said they didn't. I think it was for clout.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show's producers advised the public that they didn't know that this existed, and once they found out, they met with her and relieved her from the show. They announced that her views were unacceptable, and so her continued involvement in the program was untenable.
That reminds me of the Roseanne thing.
Yeah.
Because
you knew what she was about.
Yeah.
You knew what she was about when you fucking cast her, or like brought it back or whatever. Not cast her. She was already cast. The show was fucking her name. Celebrity Big Brother then refused to pay Tila the alleged $175,000 she was set to earn for appearing on the show.
Well, I feel like they owe her money.
Yeah.
That's her fucking money. I mean, she's despicable, but that's her fucking money.
At this point, Tila publicly apologized and then blamed the comments on depression and drug addiction.
The repeated comments?
Exactly. The next year, Tila got back on Twitter, and it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. She tweeted that Jewish American commentator Ben Shapiro should be, quote, gassed and sent back to Israel.
Whoa.
And then she posted that, quote, "There are only two things in this world for which I would gladly sacrifice my own life. The destruction of all Jews and the preservation of the white race."
What? She's not white.
No, exactly. Everybody's like, that's what everybody says. Like, do you forget? Like,
yeah.
What?
Well, because now her name is what? Tornado something?
Yeah.
That sounds white. The only white people get tornadoes.
That's true, though.
It's like Oklahoma.
And then she said, quote, "You know what will help Asians earn respect? An Asian version of Hitler. Oh. I want that person to be me. I want to save the world from this Zionist disease."
This is bad, but like how do we, not we, but like how does she get help? How do you help
someone like her? I don't know. And like, I don't think her parents are involved in her life. It doesn't sound like it at least. And it doesn't sound like she has any connection to her siblings or anything. She obviously doesn't have any good friends, like real friends. Right. Just people who are maybe trying to feed off whatever she has. She then finished it off by saying that the alt-right was the future of America. She wasn't wrong. A month later, Tila, who is still on Twitter, responded to a fan's suggestion that a Trump presidency would bring Jesus back to life by saying, quote, Jesus will come back too, just don't tell the Jews about it. And then she tweeted directly at Sarah Silverman, quote, we should at least tell Sarah Silverman since her and her people killed him.
Ooh.
And did you know this? Like, she tweeted this with people was inside of 3 ellipses.
Oh, yeah. That thing, that was big for a while on Twitter.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's like a anti-Semitic thing.
So then a lot of Jews and non-Jews started adding the parentheses to their names so that it would kind of like diffuse it. So,
wow. I didn't know that. That's awful.
It kind of that's a blast from the past. That's the one I think that's probably one of the first times where Twitter started getting kind of ugly.
I know, it's so funny. Like, you said it not that long ago, and then I was like, "Fuck, man, Twitter is too much." Like, it used to just be fun.
Yeah, only fun, only like silly.
Yeah,
it turned from like people saying going to the mall, to just like jokes.
Yeah,
and then it was like
a real serious
darkness.
Yeah, Rob Delaney hasn't made a joke on Twitter in like 5 years. So Sarah Silverman retweeted the tweet and quoted and put a comment saying, "You deserve love," which I thought was really good.
She's really good at that.
She's so good
at responding to hate with like
love.
kindness.
Yeah. That November, Tila attended the Alt-Right National Policy Institute meeting to celebrate the election of Donald Trump, which was organized by white supremacist Richard Spencer. And she posted pictures of herself doing Nazi salutes on all of her social media outlets. 3 days later, Twitter suspended Tila's account. Then she joined this off-brand Twitter called Gab.
The fuck is that?
It don't matter. She then had a second daughter named Annabelle in September of 2018.
Where's she getting these babies from?
I don't know, man. That's pretty much where we're at with Miss Tila Tequila. She continues to be banned from different social media platforms, and it's kind of harder to find her now. I found a few unverified Instagrams with about 7,000 to 8,000 followers, which is a very steep fall from her MySpace days.
Because she was getting that a day.
Yeah. It looks like she's back on Twitter, joining in 2009 with a verified @bombshell account. I did request to be added, but I haven't been accepted, and I'm kind of scared. I was kind of hoping to report back to you guys. She also has a YouTube with 128,000 followers.
I was going to say that seems like the right place for her.
Where she posts very interesting videos. She has several videos about, quote, secrets of Hollywood, including secrets of Hollywood rapists, secrets of Hollywood parties, and things like that. She posts a video recently about her pending gospel album. She has a few videos about demonic possession.
Yeah.
And she has one about whether the Pussycat Dolls is actually a prostitution ring.
Well, I never thought I'd say this, but I might agree with you. Is she still a cam girl, do you think?
No, I mean, maybe, but I couldn't find much about her. And her look is way different now because she doesn't wear as much makeup. And if you think about Tila Tequila, she had a really specific early 2000s look with the side bangs and the heavily like dyed hair, like the bleach blonde and black.
So, like our friend Kara?
Yes. And so like now she's like very fresh faced and like no makeup, and she looks crazy different. And that's the fall from grace of Tila Tequila. I don't know if she was ever at grace, but it's definitely a fall.
That story is fucked up.
And so crazy, right?
I didn't realize there was that much to it.
It's so sad.
Yeah. I want someone to help her.
Right. And that was this week's episode.
Holla at your girls. Hit us up.
Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod, and on the website dramaclubpod.com.
On the hotline 505-539-0556, at our P.O. Box number 27433 LACA 90027. Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts.
Please.
And we'll talk to you on Monday with our Afternoon Delight episode.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.